Life is not guaranteed at all, but death is absolutely guaranteed upon all. Life is not guaranteed at all, but death is absolutely guaranteed upon all. Life is not guaranteed at all, but death is absolutely guaranteed upon all.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurullah. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, you're watching Perished Kings of the Past, in which we try to bring new accounts for you of those kings who once had rule on this earth, who once boasted upon their rule, upon their power, and then they became perished. Their signs were wiped away from the face of this earth. Today, the individual that we will be talking about, he was the king who killed more than 100,000 people with his own hands, with his own sword. And generally, one common factor that we find amongst all these oppressive kings is that they killed innocent people. But the individual that we will be discussing today, he didn't only kill ordinary people, but he went to the extent of killing, martyring the blessed Sahaba, torturing the blessed Sahaba. The individual who we will be discussing today, his name is Hajjaj bin Yusuf. Hajjaj bin Yusuf was that individual who crossed all the limits of brutalities, of tyrannies, and martyred the blessed Sahaba alayhim wa ridwan. He tortured them and harmed Muslims immensely. Before going into further discussion about him, let's first of all listen to the virtue of sending peace and salutations upon the noble Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. It is mentioned in Sunnah al-Tirmidhi that the person closest to me on the day of judgment will be the one who would have recited salat upon me abundantly in this world, who would have sent blessings, salutations upon me abundantly in this world. This is the saying of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. So if we also want to be closest to the Holy Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam on the day of judgment, then we should recite salawat abundantly upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Coming back to the topic, regarding Hajjaj bin Yusuf, Hazrat Sayyiduna Hasan Basri rahmatullahi ta'ala said that on the day of judgment, if all the nations, they bring the hypocrites of their nations all together, and we bring Hajjaj bin Yusuf in front of them, then Hajjaj bin Yusuf will overweigh all of them. Meaning the hypocrisy of Hajjaj bin Yusuf will overweigh the hypocrites of all the other nations. This is how hypocrite this individual was. Hazrat Sayyidina Umar bin Abdul Aziz rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, whose caliphate is also included in Khilafat Rashida, he said that if on the day of judgment all the nations bring their own accursed people and Hajjaj bin Yusuf is brought in front of them, then Hajjaj bin Yusuf will top the list in terms of accursedness amongst all those accursed people of all those nations collectively. This is how accursed and how hypocrite this individual named Hajjaj bin Yusuf was. When Hajjaj bin Yusuf was born, he was inflicted with a terrible illness which was eventually treated. And after that, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he did not feed from his mother. He didn't take the feed of his mother, upon which his mother, she got extremely worried. Satan appeared in the form of a Hakim, in the form of a herbalist who was called Hakim Arab Harith bin Kalda. So Shaitan al-Rajim came to his parents in the form of Hakim Arab Harith bin Kalda. And Satan asked his family that, why are you guys worried? They said that he just recovered from an illness. Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he just recovered from an illness and now he's not feeding from his mother. And upon this, Satan, he gave them a suggestion that slaughter a goat and make the baby lick a little bit of its blood. Then make baby drenched in the blood of that goat, and a little while later, this baby will start feeding on his mother's milk. Therefore, this practice was followed, and Hajjaj bin Yusuf did start taking feed of his mother after a few days. It is stated that this is the reason why Hajjaj bin Yusuf felt very much delight in carrying out the killings and bloodshed. Now, let's talk about how Hajjaj bin Yusuf became a king. It is stated that a gathering of the Caliph Abdul Malik bin Marwan was going on, and he said that, who will strengthen my rule over Iraq? Abdul Malik bin Marwan, he feared that people in Iraq, they're rebelling against him, and there's some kind of conspiracy going against him in Iraq. So this is why he was making this announcement that who will take over the rule of Iraq and strengthen my rule over there. Upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he stood up and he said that, O Abdul Malik bin Marwan, I am willing to take up this role. I am willing to take up this responsibility. Choose me to rule over Iraq. Abdul Malik bin Marwan asked him that which tribe do you belong to? He said, I am from the Saqif tribe. Abdul Malik bin Marwan said to him that, sit down, you are not worthy of this. He made the same announcement again, that who's willing to rule over Iraq? And he also said that, why is it that people have their heads lowered and they all are silent? Now upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf again stood up and he gave the same reply that, O Abdul Malik bin Marwan, choose me for this responsibility. Abdul Malik bin Marwan scolded him again and told him to sit down. So he announced for the third time that who will rule over Iraq? And Hajjaj bin Yusuf again stood up, saying the same thing. Upon this, Abdul Malik bin Marwan said that it seems that you are the person who is going to take over the rule of Iraq, and you will keep those people under control. Hence, Hajjaj bin Yusuf was made the governor of Iraq. Now, Abdul Malik bin Marwan, he asked Hajjaj bin Yusuf that, what will be your motto when you go over there? How will you actually rule the people over there? So Hajjaj bin Yusuf replied that, I will kill whoever disobeys me, and the one who obeys me, I will make him my close companion. And Hajjaj bin Yusuf, upon this, was made the governor of Iraq. Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he went to Iraq, and he went in the Jami Masjid of Iraq and saw that people were still coming in the masjid. So at this moment of time, he didn't say anything. And when the masjid was full of people, then Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he spoke out and degraded them a great deal. He degraded those people in the masjid a lot. Now, the people of Iraq, they considered this to be very degrading for themselves. And this was very upsetting for them. But they all remained quiet due to the threatening behavior of Hajjaj bin Yusuf. As he was the governor now, and he had the power, he had the rule, he had the authority, he could have done whatever he wanted to. Hence, people actually remained scared of him. Now, Hajjaj bin Yusuf was very fond of killing people. He was also an insolent, a person who would severely disrespect the Sahaba. Hajjaj bin Yusuf not only disrespected the Sahaba, but he also disrespected the blessed Kaaba and tarnished the sanctity of the blessed city of Madinatul Munawwara. Hajjaj bin Yusuf would stone Makkatul Mukarramah with a catapult, and he laid a siege in Makkatul Mukarramah and caused famine to occur there. As when he laid a siege over there, he stopped all the food provisions from going inside the city of Makkah. And he is also that accursed person who martyred Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Now, as mentioned earlier, Hajjaj bin Yusuf was extremely insolent and disrespectful person. Hazrat Sayyidina Abdullah bin Zubair radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who is an acclaimed Sahabi of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, regarding him, Hajjaj bin Yusuf once said, standing on the mimbar, on the pulpit, he said that Abdullah bin Zubair has made amendments in the Quran. Ma'adallah. Look at the blame that he's putting on Sayyidina Abdullah bin Zubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu. What a great companion he was. And the accursed Hajjaj bin Yusuf was putting this blame on him that he radiallahu ta'ala anhu has made amendments in the glorious Quran. However, Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also present over there and listening to this. He said that you're lying, you are lying. Abdullah bin Zubair has not made any amendments in the Quran. It is that book of Allah Almighty that he has taken the responsibility of protecting it himself. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma said these words in the defense of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Zubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he disrespected Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma as well and said that Ma'adullah, you've gone old. You have lost your senses and your intellect is not sound anymore. Being intoxicated in the greed of rule, power and kingdom, Hajjaj bin Yusuf was disrespecting the Sahaba and also oppressing them. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, Hajjaj bin Yusuf was that accursed person who lived in Madinatul Munawwarah for 1 month and did not regard the honor of that city either. And he oppressed the people of Medina as well. He did not regard the status, the honor and the glory, the eminence of the Sahaba either. And in order to, ma'azallah, humiliate the Sahaba, what he would do is that he would even go to the extent of searing their bodies. Meaning, searing is a process in which a person harms the body, the skin of the other person using a metal tool by warming it immensely and then putting a mark on the body of the other person. This is what this process is all about. This is what searing actually is. So, Hajjaj bin Yusuf would even go to the extent of searing the bodies of the blessed Sahaba alayhim ridwan. You can imagine how cruel and ruthless this individual was. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, Hajjaj bin Yusuf said his blessed hand using molten lead. Just imagine how accursed Hajjaj bin Yusuf was, who did not even regard or have any kind of regard for the status and the honor Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma had in the blessed court of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Furthermore, he also said the Sahaba, the likes of Sahal bin Abdullah and Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that companion of the Prophet who served him for 10 years, who stayed in the service of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for 10 years. This accursed person did not even spare Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he saved his blessed neck using molten lead. You can imagine how cruel and ruthless this person was. Hajjaj bin Yusuf was talking ill as per his habit, and Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, being the flag bearer of truth, denied Hajjaj bin Yusuf from saying what he was saying. Upon which Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he became extremely infuriated. He became furious upon this. So he commanded his servant to strike the foot of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma with a spear dipped in poison. And that unfortunate servant also listened to the command of Hajjaj bin Yusuf. And he brought a spear dipped in poison and struck the blessed foot of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. Upon this, the immediate effects of that poison dipped spear became apparent, and the blessed foot of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma became swollen. And look at the hypocrisy of Hajjaj bin Yusuf, that he went to Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma and said that, I wish I knew who's behind doing all this to you. Now Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, he was the companion of that Prophet. He stayed in the servitude, in the service of that Prophet who even knew the states of the hearts. So Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma said to him that, what would you do if you come to know that who struck me with this spear? And upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he said that I'll take him to account and I will kill him. And upon this, Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, he said that you won't do this, because this has happened upon your instructions. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, he knew that Hajjaj bin Yusuf is behind all this. And look at the hypocrisy of Hajjaj bin Yusuf, that on one side, he orders his servant to, ma'adallah, strike Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma with a spear that's dipped in poison. And on the other hand, he goes to Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, being his well-wisher, showing himself, behaving himself in front of him, pretending to be his well-wisher. Have a look at his hypocrisy. Once, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he came to Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu and said to him that, come with me, let me show you my horses. So, Hajjaj bin Yusuf showed Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu 400 of his horses. And then he said, oh Anas, did your master have such honor and grandeur? Now, look at his recklessness, that he is, ma'adallah, challenging the beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in front of his worthless worth. So, this is what he said to him. And Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala replied that, by Allah, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had more glory and honor than this. There are three types of horses. Now Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala continues his speech over here, continues his reply to Hajjaj bin Yusuf over here. He says that there are three types of horses. One, the first type is of those horses that a person keeps for jihad. The second type of horses are that a person keeps for travel. And third type of horses are those that a person keeps to show off, to show his worldly status. And this type is of those who are hell dwellers. And he carried on to say that, oh Hajjaj, your horses fall in this third category. Now listening to this, Hajjaj became extremely furious. And he said, oh Anas, if I did not have the regard for the service which you did for the Prophet, then I would have made you a sign of admonition, a sign of warning for people. Listening to this, Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala said that, oh Hajjaj, you cannot harm me even a little bit, because I've learnt the dua from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that the one who reads this dua, no one can harm him. With the blessings of those words, I always remain under the refuge, under the protection of Allah Almighty. Hajjaj bin Yusuf said, they tell me of those words as well. But Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala said that no, I will not tell you of those words. This discussion of his was also seen by his companions. So when his last time came, his servant Aban rahmatullahi ta'ala came to him, who was crying. So Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala asked him that, why are you crying? Upon which Aban rahmatullahi ta'ala, his servant, he asked him that those words which the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught you, please teach them to us as well. Tell us of those words as well. So Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he told those words to his servant Aban rahmatullahi ta'ala as well at the time of his passing from this world. Now, dear viewers of Madani Channel, when Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he gained the rule, he was only 20 years, and when he died, he was 53 years of age. And the number of people that Hajjaj bin Yusuf killed by his own hands, with his own sword, within this time frame of 33 years, this tenure of 33 years of his rule, it is reported to be of around 120,000 people. So he killed 120,000 people with his own hands within this tenure of 33 years of his rule. Other people that he made his army kill are beyond this. In addition to this, he also had 50,000 men and 30,000 women under his captivity, and they had no crime whatsoever for which they were imprisoned. And Hajjaj bin Yusuf was so cruel that he imprisoned them in the prison cells in such a way that they would feel the warmth of the hot weather and also the cold of the cold weather. So this is how severe this punishment was, this imprisonment was for the captives of Hajjaj bin Yusuf, and those captives also didn't have any crime against which they were imprisoned. Imam Shafi was asked whether Hajjaj bin Yusuf was a Muslim or not, to which he replied that Hajjaj bin Yusuf was the follower of Satan, of Shaitan al-Rajim. He also said that on the day of judgment, if all the accursed people are gathered and Hajjaj bin Yusuf is presented before them, then he will exceed in accursedness compared to them all. This is how wretched this individual, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, was. Sayyidina Mughira radiallahu ta'ala narrates that Hajjaj bin Yusuf was carrying out unjust murders at Jamajam. It is a location, a place. So he radiallahu ta'ala told him not to kill people unjustly, because on the day of judgment, those killed unjustly will be helped. Upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf said, I've taken an oath to fill this earth with your blood. Upon this, he said that, O Hajjaj, people present beneath the earth are more than those present on the earth. Listening to this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf stopped from carrying out his martyrdom, from carrying out his murder. Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair, who is the most prominent of the Tabi'een, how Hajjaj bin Yusuf martyred him, let's hear about this account. Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu used to tell Hajjaj bin Yusuf to stay away from disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to stay away from carrying out non-shari'i acts. And one day, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he became furious and said to him that, how shall I kill you? He was showing his arrogance to him as well. He's asking him that, how do you want me to kill you? And upon this, Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala replied that, kill me in the same way as you wish to be killed on the day of judgment. Now, listening to this reply, Hajjaj bin Yusuf became enraged and ordered the executor to murder Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala. He radiallahu ta'ala, as soon as he heard this command of his own execution, he smiled. And upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he said that, I'm surprised upon your smile. And he radiallahu ta'ala said that, I'm surprised upon your recklessness in front of Allah Almighty. I'm surprised that how reckless you are in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you know that the way you kill other people in this world, in a similar fashion, in a similar manner, you will be killed on the day of judgment. Despite knowing this, you're still carrying out my execution? This is more astonishing of a matter than me smiling upon knowing about my own execution. So, he was smiling. So, upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he ordered the executor to murder Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So, the executor went to him with his sword. Upon this, he radiallahu ta'ala anhu recited the 79th verse of Surah Al-An'am, translation of which is, I directed my face towards the one who has created the heavens and the earth. I am devoted solely to him, and I am not of the polytheists. Hajjaj bin Yusuf ordered for his face to be turned away from the Qibla. Therefore, the executor, he turned his face away from the Qibla. Upon this, Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu recited verse number 155 of Surah Al-Baqarah, the translation of which is, then whichever side you turn to, there is wajhullah, the mercy of Allah is inclined towards you. Upon this, Hajjaj bin Yusuf ordered the executor to lie him down on the ground and then carry out his murder. Upon which Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu recited the 55th verse of Surah Taha, the translation of which is, we have created you from merely earth, and only to it we shall take you back, and only from it we shall cause you to rise again. The executor martyred Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and at that time he had blessed kalima flowing on his tongue. During those moments, Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he prayed to Allah Almighty that, O Allah, after my unjust killing, may Hajjaj bin Yusuf not take over any other Muslim. Therefore, his dua was accepted, and 15 days after his martyrdom, Hajjaj bin Yusuf also met his own dreadful and disgraceful end, and he died. How did this happen? Let's hear about this now. Hajjaj bin Yusuf remained alive for 15 days after martyring Sayyidina Sayyid bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He could not eat or drink anything. He had a stomach illness, which we nowadays refer to as stomach cancer. The doctor used to tie a piece of meat with a thread and lower it down his throat, and when he would pull it back out, it would be drenched in blood. So Hajjaj bin Yusuf couldn't even sleep for 15 days. Whenever he would go sleep, he would see a dream in which he would see that Sayyidina Sayyid bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu is dragging him whilst holding him from his leg. And dear viewers of Madani Channel, in this way, after spending 15 days in this pain, agony, torture and grief, Hajjaj bin Yusuf met his dreadful end. Sayyidina Umar bin Abdul Aziz radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw Hajjaj bin Yusuf in a dream after he died and asked him that, Ma fa'al Allahu bika, how did Allah Almighty deal with you? Upon which Hajjaj bin Yusuf replied, I found Allah Almighty in extreme wrath. I was killed on behalf of every person that I had killed in this world. And in exchange of the unjust murder of Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I was killed 70 times. Now this is the dream that Sayyidina Umar bin Abdul Aziz radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw after the death of Hajjaj bin Yusuf. And this is what Hajjaj bin Yusuf told Sayyidina Umar bin Abdul Aziz radiallahu ta'ala anhu regarding his punishment that he was facing in the hereafter. That in exchange of every single murder that he committed in this world, he was being killed in the hereafter. And in exchange of the unjust murder of Sayyidina Sa'id bin Jubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was killed 70 times. So dear viewers of Madani Channel, again, what do we learn? That no matter how powerful we are, no matter how big our rule is, how powerful our rule is, one day our oppression, our tyrannies, our unjustness would come to an end. So dear viewers of Madani Channel, always try to stay away from oppression and be amongst those who obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stay away from oppression. May Allah Almighty keep us away from oppression and include us amongst those who are His chosen servants. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Life is not guaranteed at all, but death is absolutely guaranteed upon all. Life is not guaranteed at all, but death is absolutely guaranteed upon all. Life is not guaranteed at all, but death is absolutely guaranteed upon